Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are and whenever you're watching. My name is Queen Diva. I am the VP COO of the Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society as well as Artist in Residence. Tonight is our music spotlight. It is our last one of the month. All month long, we have been celebrating Jazz Appreciation Month. And I had a blast being the guest host. Want to say hello to our CEO President, Mr. Perry Thompson. And just waiting for our guest. Our guest tonight is Paula Atherton. She is a flautist, saxophonist, and vocalist. And presently she has a number 8, top 8 Billboard charting single called Keep It Coming. And we absolutely want to talk to her about her single, her tour, what she's doing, what she's up to. So we're just waiting for her. Hey, Perry. We're just waiting for her to come on. We had a briefing on for her to get on, so I'm just waiting for her to get on. And so just talk a little bit about the Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society for those of you who are new to watching. We are a preservation society. The Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society was founded in December 14th in 2018 by Mr. Perry Thompson. And we are on a mission to preserve Black music culture one record at a time. And we have been doing some great work online on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We've had some amazing guests over the last 4 months. We started doing Instagram Live this year in January, and I have been the guest host this month. And we got to interview Eric Reed, Jason Moran. Hello, Carolyn Griffey and Shalimar. Oh, thank you for joining us. We'd love to have you on. We would love to have you on. So if you have your schedule opening, we definitely would love to have you on our music spotlight. Tonight we are here and waiting on Paula Atherton. She is a saxophonist, flautist, and jazz vocalist, and we are going to talk to her. She actually is the only woman that I actually have opportunity to interview during our Jazz Appreciation Month of April. So I'm really excited to have her on and talk to her about being a jazz musician, an instrumentalist, and vocalist in jazz, and her journey in this wonderful genre. Oh, and also today is Ella Fitzgerald's birthday. She would have been 105. Ooh, glory, can you imagine? We have all that wonderful music that she has left behind. So if you didn't know, April 25th is Ella Fitzgerald's birthday. Listen to some Ella. She did a lot of great work with Duke Ellington. So today is her birthday, and it is the last Monday that we are celebrating Jazz Appreciation Month. And I am waiting on our guest, Paula Atherton. Let's see if she's here. I don't see her. I know she had something prior to, but we're just waiting for her to come along. But yes, we are so excited about many things that we have coming up and going on and in the works. One thing I can share, we do have a college lecture tour, and we have been doing that since November of last year. We started at Stockton University in New Jersey with the legendary Crash Crew member, Reggie Reg. And we are open to coming to any university or college in and around the United States. So if you'd like for us to come to your college or university, or know of one that may want us to be there, inbox us or email us at info@rhythmandbluesps.org. And also, we're also looking for sponsors for this IG. This IG faithfully is on every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And we just interviewed various people in the music industry. We've interviewed people from producers, songwriters, singers, sons and daughters of legendary R&B icons. Like we've interviewed the children of Isaac Hayes and Betty Wright, and we have some more people that's coming in. Oh yes, we have written down right here. You can look at info@rhythmandbluesps.org. Invite us to speak at your school. It could be college, university, it could be a high school, elementary school. It doesn't matter. We are just on a mission to preserve Black music culture, one record at a time. And we love talking about our history. And it's important to talk about our history. For rhythm and blues music is a part of everything. If you really notice, it's really a part of everything. So let me check to see if she's here. I don't see her. All right, just make sure it is 8 o'clock, right? Let's make sure it's 8 o'clock. I know it's 8 o'clock in the East Coast because it's 7 o'clock in Central. So we're just waiting on our guest, Paula Atherton, and excited to hear about her journey as a jazz instrumentalist, saxophonist, flautist, and vocalist. And she's presently on tour. As a matter of fact, when I was chatting with her, she had just returned from doing a date, and she was like quickly trying to share on her networks about tonight's interview. So I know she's excited about being on, and so we're just waiting for her to log on. We just check again, make sure I don't miss her. I don't miss her. So let me just talk a little more. Tail Entertainment, welcome. About the Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society. We've only been around for a short amount of time, since 2018. I joined on board last year in 2021, and we've done some really great things. And we've been doing it mostly online, but one of the most fun that we've done most recently was in February. We celebrated Nina Simone's birthday on February 21st in Atlantic City. And we also was issued a proclamation of recognition from the Assemblyman. Welcome, Queen Prima. Assemblyman Guardian. And we also had a letter of support from the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy. So we've been busy hobnobbing and connecting with politicians and our local enthusiasts in New Jersey, Atlantic City, New Jersey. And so we have a few more things up our sleeve that we are working on. We would love your donations. You can donate to us at $RPBS18 on Cash App and PayPal RBPS18. All the money that we receive helps us to organize our college classroom tours, our lecture series, also to promote our different events that we have coming up. We are planning 2 big tributes that are coming up very soon. A Nina Simone tribute, which is going to be starring Yonda Sunshine, and also a Phyllis Hyman tribute, which I will be starring in. And we're looking forward to doing that in the very near future. So we will keep you posted. I'm just checking to see if Paula is here yet. I don't quite see her. Perry, if there's a way that you can reach into her inbox, because I can't reach her through here. So Perry, if you can reach into her inbox and ask her how many more minutes does she see before logging on with us. So yes, we are working on a Nina Simone tribute. We're working on a Phyllis Hyman tribute, a college classroom lecture series, and several other things we don't want to just say out loud just yet. But the main thing that we're doing every week is our music spotlight. And what that is that we talk to various musicians, producers, songwriters, all across the country. And we just talk with them. It's just an organic conversation. We talk about their lives, their successes. Yes, please. Their lives, their successes, different goals, dreams, anything that they really want to talk about. Primarily, I just guide them through the conversation, really. It's really what I do. I do want to talk to her about her tour, and I definitely want to talk to her about her number 8 single, which is Keep It Coming. I listened to that earlier today, and I was like, okay, I hear you, Paula, I hear you. So we're just waiting on her to log on, and so we can start the interview. Let me talk a little bit about myself. Some of you may have never heard of me. My name is Queen Diva. I am a singer, songwriter, producer of Strength of a Woman, a Phyllis Hyman tribute. For about the last 10 years, I'm producing in and around, on and off Broadway, and have been having a blast doing it. I took a break for about 2.5 years. I went back to school and I got my executive MBA from Prairie View A&M University. It's part of the Texas A&M system. I just got my degree in December of 2021. And so now just really excited to jump in and to work with getting music, preserving Black music culture and getting African American music studies in our colleges and university all across America. That is a big thing that's on my heart and that I've shared with the president of the Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society, Perry Thompson. So we're actually really we're really looking forward to working with school districts and university associations to see if we can get African American music studies in the curriculum. I know there's a few universities that offer a class or two, but we really need to work toward getting African American music studies as a degreed program. We need to have a program where they're studying gospel music, where they're studying jazz in all its colors, where they're studying blues, where they're studying hip hop. Because there's a lot, all of these genres really kind of mesh into each other. They influence each other. That's how we have such great music we have today. But we really need to be studying about it. We need to study from the very beginning where it originated with African Americans who created music starting from the Negro spiritual to today that we have with trip hop and Latin hip hop, and I think the latest thing I heard was trip hop soul. I mean, it's just so much going on. All originated from African Americans right here in America. So we need to have that as an actual degree program. So that's one of many things that the Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society is on a mission to have activate in America. So we're still waiting. We're waiting to see how if Paula Atherton will be able to join our interview. Just a little background that I have before me that I don't want to talk about everything because I really want to talk with her. But the main thing that I really want to talk to her about is as being a woman instrumentalist, a saxophonist on the tour, on the road, doing what she does. How does she navigate through that? We don't see very many female saxophonists, and it would be very interesting to hear her perspective of that and how she's doing it, in a really great way. So I'd love to talk to her about that, of course, about her new album, her number 8 song, Keep It Coming, and just her background. I just got to know who she was. Perry had booked her for this month, and I was like, I had never heard of her. Let me look into what she's doing. Let me hear her music. And I said, I like this. So I can't wait to ask her questions. I hope that she's okay because I literally just chatted with her not even an hour ago. Let me double check again. No, I don't see her. Okay, wait a minute. I think this may be her first IG live, so I think that may be the issue. So we're waiting to see how we can get her on because I don't think she's actually done an IG live before. So we're just waiting. And get your questions ready because we definitely will incorporate your questions that you have for her. You can type it out. There's an icon here that has a question mark. You can type either your question in there or you can type it on the timeline. But it'll be better if you type your question where it has the question mark icon in the lower right hand corner. And so any questions that you have for her, I can ask her. Her collaborations. Oh yes, definitely want to talk about her collaborations, what she's doing. I was looking through her timeline and seeing some of the jazz festivals that she's been performing at, and I love that she's collaborating with other women jazz artists. I just think that's just so wonderful when women come together and we support each other and we work with each other. So I really want to ask her about that. All right, I still don't see her. Or I think it may be that this is her first time getting on. Hello, welcome, Calvin Lee. My name is Queen Diva, and you are watching Music Spotlight, the Rhythm Blues Preservation Society. We do this every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Central. We are waiting on our guest. Welcome, April. We are waiting on our guest, um, Paula Atherton. I think we're having a little technical difficulties. I don't believe she's done an IG Live before. So we're just waiting for her to come on. I don't see her. So just waiting, just waiting. Is everyone enjoying their Monday? You know, today is Ella Fitzgerald Day. That's what I spoke about when I first got on. So if you didn't know, it is Ella Fitzgerald's birthday. So if you haven't listened to her music today, make sure you listen to her music today. Okay, so you sent her a message. Okay, yeah, make sure you listen to Ella Fitzgerald's music. I love Brown Skin Girl and the Calico Gown. It's a song that Duke Ellington wrote. And she did several versions on different albums. I love that song. I love the phrasing and the way that she uses her voice. Here she go, here she go. Looks like Paula is in the building. Let's see if we can get her on. All right, so accept the invite.
Hey.
There she is, there she is.
Okay. Can I do this? I can do this. If I could do this, then I could put it over here. All right. How you
You're
doing?
sideways. You're sideways, Paula.
Yeah. You are, but I'm straight up here. I'm sideways to you? Yeah. All right. I got to put it in this other adapter.
Sideways to me.
Okay.
All right, looks like everybody's joining the party. They must have knew when you were going to pop right on, Paula.
Something like that. Okay. All right. I'm sort of in here. Can you see me now?
All right, you ready? You ready?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm
So
ready.
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We are live, the Music Spotlight Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society. And I was just talking a little bit of how we're so excited to have you on and talk about your journey and jazz and all that good stuff. So we're going to start from the very beginning.
Okay,
When did you fall in love? When did you fall in love with jazz?
My parents used to play some jazz in the house when I was a kid. Like my mother loved Nat King Cole, so I heard that all the time. My friends were kind of like in rock bands and stuff like that growing up, so I wasn't as exposed to it back then. But I always felt like my voice was a little different and my tastes were a little different, and I didn't really fit in with the music that friends of mine liked or they were playing. So in my teens, I started listening to jazz. You were speaking about Ella Fitzgerald. I listened to Ella a lot. I learned some of her scat solos, which takes a long time to do. um, and I started listening to saxophone players like Cannonball Adderley, Charlie Parker, David Sanborn, people like that. And I had come up as a singer. I had been working as a singer, and I played flute, but I hadn't really started to play saxophone yet. So as I was studying jazz, I just found the need to like have more colors in my expression and my improvisation. So I reached into the woodwind family a little further. A flute and saxophone have a lot of similar actually the same fingerings on a lot of notes. So I just had to get past the whole embouchure thing and using a reed and whatnot. And it was kind of easy to start playing saxophone. A lot of woodwind players play more than one. They'll play saxophone, flute, maybe clarinet, stuff like that. So, yeah, I really got heavy into it in my late teens. Just kind of taking jazz apart, looking at solos, scatting them, transcribing them, looking at the chord changes and what notes people were selecting, players were selecting, and trying to understand what they were doing. I think you kind of have to do that before you make your own you find your own thing. You know, you got to see what all the greats did with your instruments or your instrument, however many instruments you're playing, and that'll kind of inform you of what can be done, and then you kind of take those tools and make your own thing with it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that answers several questions. So I'm gonna have to go back and go back into this question. Okay, so you fell in love listening what your parents had, and then you migrated into getting to an instrument. What did you were you singing first, or the playing the instrument first? It was you was
I was
kind of both
singing
at the same
first.
time. Singing
I was
first.
singing first, yeah, and I worked as a singer who played flute first before I introduced the saxophone. In school, you know, I started singing right away in elementary school, and then we were able to get an instrument in band because I was in band and chorus, and I think I wanted to get drums or something, and they didn't want to give me drums, so I got a flute. I didn't really pick flute, but it didn't matter to me in a way because I just really wanted to play music. I didn't care what it was.
Mhm.
Just give me something, you know. I was going to go with whatever it was.
Whatever was given. You know, so interesting. I learned how to play the clarinet. I sang first, and I played the clarinet. I really wanted to play flute. But all the girls wanted to play flute. They said, now everybody can't play the flute. Somebody got to play another instrument. So I wound up playing the clarinet. And so I thought that was so interesting that you didn't want to play the flute, but you wound up playing the flute because you couldn't play the drums.
Yeah, you know, that happens to band teachers a lot, right? Because they need students on every instrument. You might have like too many flute players and no saxophone players or no trumpet players or whatever. So they do their best to coax the students into like playing something else because they need somebody in that chair, you know. So they kind of just, you know, I don't know how they do it, beg and plead or just tell them, no, you're playing this.
No, you're
One of the
playing
two.
this.
Sorry about that. You're playing this.
That is so interesting. I still want to learn the flute. I mean, you know, I never did switch, and I really wanted to. This was sixth grade. I think it was sixth grade when I started. Yeah, it was sixth grade. It's sixth or seventh grade. But I never did. I played the flute played the clarinet from seventh grade all the way through college. And then I put the horn down and I haven't picked it up in 30 years. So I just thought it was so interesting that you said that because I initially wanted to play the flute, but I wound up going with the clarinet because that's what the band director told me to play. So
Right,
I see
right.
that's something that they just do just so they can balance out, you know, each student being able to have an instrument to play and participate. So that is
Exactly.
so interesting. That's so interesting. But you wonder, how did you switch from flute to saxophone?
Um, well, like I said before, like the fingerings are very much the same. And I was studying with a teacher who was also a multi-instrumentalist, you know, woodwind player. So he was kind of helping me with the transition. It's more just about the embouchure, which is, you know, your lip position and how you play the instrument and
Hmm.
learning how to, what you have to do with a reed, you know, because you don't need a reed for a flute.
Yeah,
So once you kind of get past that, uh, then you just start practicing and trying to find your sound. You know, it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight.
that's true. And so you did that when you was in high school, when you switched over with the instruments,
Uh, yeah, around the time I was graduating,
and you said you went on to study. So did you go to college or was it private study afterwards when you finished high school?
I did study in college and I also studied privately, both.
Okay, that's good because a lot of people don't even know to do that. A lot of times, musicians either start in church or they have someone in the neighborhood that teaches them, and they just kind of, kind of bump along and find in their journey. Um, did you gig during the time you were in high school or college, or when did the gigging start for you?
In my late teens. Yeah.
Is that was in solo or were you with bands or did you create your own bands? How did that evolve?
Well, later on, I did create my own band, but in the beginning, I just, you know, worked with local bands doing, you know, cover stuff and you know, in the beginning, you're like scared. You know, I was performing. I had stage fright and I was nervous. And I think, you know, that comes from not knowing what you're doing or not having the confidence yet because you haven't spent the time to develop your artistry, and you're just kind of trying to not embarrass yourself and fit in, and you know, you want to get there, but it's not like it doesn't happen overnight. So you got to give yourself some time. But in the beginning, when you're first starting, there's like so many like question marks floating around, you know, and it just, you know, it's a process. It's just a process.
That is so true. When you graduated and you were playing and then you were studying and you were gigging, did you have any idea that you wanted to become an artist, or you just like playing? It was fun. How did that evolve from you playing and learning and wanting to become an artist?
Well, I was learning how to play traditional jazz and sing traditional jazz, so I was like studying, you know, American songbook type repertoire, playing it, singing it. I, Even within that, I tried to make it my own. Like sometimes like I spoke of before, I learned an Ella Fitzgerald scat solo, so I do that on a tune. Or I would take a jazz tune that didn't have lyrics and I'd write lyrics to it. You know, I try to like be creative with what I was doing. But then after a while, I kind of got bored with like playing the repertoire,
Mm.
and I wanted to like have something that was more uniquely mine. So I started trying to write, and I hadn't really studied. I studied composition a little bit later, but I hadn't really studied composition yet. But I just, you know, I sat down at the piano. I'm not a great piano player, but I know harmony and I could play some chords, and so I just started to like bang out some chords and find a melody, and then I put it on manuscript paper. And then the band that I was working with, I bring it to rehearsal, and we, you know, we try it out. So I kept kind of like repeating that. Of course, I didn't have a catalog yet. I just started writing. So, you know, little by little, I'd introduce a tune. The band would kind of play it, and we'd make it our own. You know. Um, and then after that, I kind of got to the point where I started to record some of my tunes,
Mm.
and I didn't really know anything about like getting a record deal. I didn't have any money to do anything like that. I just kind of like maybe had enough money to record, or I had some friends that had recording studios and they were helping me out. But you know, this whole thing is like there's so much to learn. It's such a process, you know. Nobody knows what they're doing in the beginning. They just try stuff, and they see what works. You know, it's trial and error a lot of times, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Were you the only woman saxophonist in your band, or did you have other women in your band, or how did that navigate when you were doing your bands? How did that work for you?
Um, it was just a rhythm section, guitar, keys, bass, and drums, and me. So that's usually how I go out too. I mean, I'd love to have you know, backup singers and percussion and a horn section, but I usually, you know, get to work with a five-piece band these days. So I had a different configuration for a little while. I had uh, bass, drums, and vibes,
Mm.
and sometimes we had a guitar to that, and that was really fun. That was a different kind of texture, you know.
Yeah,
But it was
absolutely.
always like a smaller ensemble, which I enjoy because I get to like stretch out a little bit more with what I'm doing. You know, I have more room to do what I want to do.
Absolutely. So with all those years you were gigging and you were writing, how did you get from that to getting a record deal?
Uh, let's see. Well, I could tell you a really cool story, and this story is for the artists out there, the aspiring artists that think, you know, they're just working and working and grinding, and like nobody cares, nobody hears your stuff. You think that like nobody's listening to you.
Yeah.
So I had recorded my first album, and that was kind of just a collection of songs that I wrote. And I tried to do a little bit of radio promotion on it, but I could only do it for about a month, and that didn't get me anywhere. Um, on my second album, I got a distribution deal, and uh, there were still some stores open. You know, like Tower was still open around 2010.
Remember.
Um, And so I was able to get my albums out there in places and also get it online and whatnot. And that my second release is kind of where I found my niche, you know, with my writing. Like it's kind of like old school R&B, and I have Latin influences and even pop influences. You know, it just kind of all the music that I like comes out of my writing. So let's see, that was my second album. My third album I got on a label, and it was a licensing deal. So I got, after a certain number of years, I got the recording back. I own the master,
Okay.
so that was good, and that was called "Enjoy the Ride." But by my fourth album, we had finished recording it, and we were kind of like shopping around for a label, and one of the labels that we had sent to was Kalimba Music.
Mm.
Um, and for the people that don't know what that is, it was Maurice White's label from Earth, Wind and Fire. Um, that it's not really, it doesn't have artists signed to it anymore. Its main function right now is to collect Earth, Wind and Fire's royalties. But for a short period of time, for a few years, it had a few artists on it. And Greg Manning was signed first, and I was signed second, and then Adam Hawley was signed third. So my husband produces a lot of my stuff, but I still work with a lot of outside producers. So at the time, he had produced this record, and it's called Ear Candy, right? So we were shopping around for a label, and he called Kalimba, and somebody answered the phone, and he told him that he was my producer, and that we had a new recording, and we'd like to, you know, send it over so they could hear it. So whoever answered the phone just said, we'll let you know if we're interested," and just hung up. And he's like, "Forget it, you know, they're not interested." So the next morning, I'm in New York. So New York time, 10 o'clock, the phone rings, which is 7 a.m. West Coast time, which is where they are, right?
Okay.
So the phone rings, my husband picks it up, and he goes, "This is who?" "Oh, hi. Oh, you love it and you want us to send it over? Okay." And he hangs up. I'm like, what was that? He said, that was Ted Joseph, the A&R guy at Kalimba. He said he loves your music and he wants us to FedEx over a CD.
Wow.
And I was like, what? He loves my music? He even knows who I am? So that that was kind of like, that was a mind blower, man, because, you know, like I said before, a lot of people feel like I'm just grinding here, I'm recording, I'm working so hard, I'm doing this and that. Nobody's paying any attention to me. Nobody hears me. Nobody knows about me.
Wow.
And then you get something like that, and it's like, whoa, somebody is listening to me. It's
Wow.
not going into a black hole in space and disappearing. So you never know who's paying attention to you, who's listening to you. You have to just keep going.
That is so true. So when you signed with them, how long did you stay with Columba? How long did you stay with them?
I only had one release with them. It came out in 2015, and Maurice died the next year.
That's right. That's right.
That was a shock.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So are you on your own label now, or did you go to another one after
No,
2015?
I'm on my own label now. I'm on my
So
own label now.
so is that, I guess, is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time when you have
No.
everything on your shoulder to take care of everything? Or
Well,
is it a good thing that you take care of everything?
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Um, you know, there are certain formats, for lack of a better word. You can get signed to a record label like a old style record label where they own your master. You know, so if they own your master, you can only get product from them if you're still pressing products such as a CD. You know, you can only get product from them if you buy it from them.
Mm,
So you don't have your own catalog per se because they own your master.
yeah,
And then they also take like half of your airplay royalties because they own the master.
that's right.
That's legally correct. You know, that's what they should do, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, in the beginning, I think record labels are really useful in the beginning for an artist to get out there because your brand hasn't really been established. People don't really know who you are, and the label's helping you promote yourself, and they can help you get out there a lot easier than you can do for yourself. But after you've gotten out there and established yourself and your brand a little bit, people know who you are. They know your music. People have to know that you're making this music to be able to buy it, you know. So once you start to grow your audience and people know who you are, I think it's better to go on your own.
Yeah. Wow. So on your own, you're doing it on your own and traveling and touring. So that means you booking the dates and collecting the money and all. That's that's all you.
Pretty much, I do work with some agents. I'm not signed exclusively to anybody, but I work non-exclusively with some agents. I probably book the most out of anybody that books me.
Mm, okay.
It's a lot of work. It's not for the faint of heart.
There's a
I
lot
mean,
of people, because people romanticize being an indie artist, being an independent label, and so that's why I'm asking these questions of you because we don't get those we don't get those answers. People think, oh, well, I have my own label, I do this and that. Yeah, but do you know the reality of it and doing it all and
well,
carrying it on your shoulders.
I think it's better to have control over your own career, you know? Um, you can work with people and you could get advice from people, but ultimately, like I was talking about before, once your brand is established and people know you, when I, every time I release a new album, people will buy that, but then they go back into my back catalog. And if they don't have anything, they start buying my back catalog. It happens every time I release something new. So if you own your own catalog, you reap the benefits of that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So speaking of your music, right now you have a single that is number 8 on the Billboard charts. Talk about that with us.
Actually, I got a call from my radio promoter today. It's number 5.
All right,
It's number 5 on
congratulations.
Billboard. Yeah, yeah. Back to the top 5. Oh, yeah.
All right. So talk about that, the song, when you wrote it, your inspiration from it, how you feel about it being number 5, all of that.
So this particular song, unlike most of my music, I didn't write.
Mm.
Um, I I think mostly with, sorry, my dog is barking. uh, I called Jacob Webb up because I wanted to work with him. Can you hear me? Because I know he's barking. He's going to stop.
I can hear you. I
Um,
guess he want to be in the, he want to be in conversation.
he he's a ham. He always wants to get on. Hey Sam, cut it out. So I called Jacob Webb because I wanted to work with him. He's a producer, songwriter, bass player, and he's produced some tunes for friends of mine. I really like his work, so I called him up, and he said, "Listen, I got a track, but I got a song that I wrote. I wrote the melody on it too. Why don't you check it out, see if you like it?" And he played it for me. I really liked it, and so I decided to record it. So that's how "Keep It Coming" came about. So there's no backstory on the inspiration on that particular one, but I really enjoy playing this song. I played it at the Seabreeze Jazz Festival on Thursday, this past Thursday in Florida.
Okay.
I was playing with Jazz and Pink, this all-female jazz group, and I got to play some of my own songs, so I played that there. Um, and it's thrilling getting to hear your song on the radio, seeing your song go up the chart. It never gets old. It's what you dream about when you're working towards this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then when it actually happens, it's, it's always thrilling. It never gets old.
Wow. Well, congratulations on number 5. And so you're in the midst of a tour. So what are you just in America? Are you going overseas? What does that entail?
I haven't been overseas since 2019 when I played in Madrid.
Okay.
I think that travel there is opening up now. I'm actually going to speak with an agent from Germany on Wednesday or Thursday this week. So, and we're going to talk about doing some stuff over there. The dates that I have booked now are mostly in the United States. As I mentioned, I played at the Seabreeze Festival Thursday, and then I played Middle C in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm playing in Leesburg, Virginia this weekend. And then later in May, I'm playing Las Cruces, New Mexico, which I think is going to be very beautiful. Playing the the Empress Theater in Vallejo, California in June 25th. I'm just doing this off the top of my head now. July 1st and 2nd, I'm going to be playing in Chicago. The 15th, I'm in Michigan in Ypsilanti, which starts with a Y. If you're trying to find it and you can't, it starts with a Y. That's why you can't find it.
Oh
I saw that.
my.
I'm like, okay, how do you say this? Because I have no idea. And I'm going back to New Mexico in August to Albuquerque. And I'm playing with my good friend Cindy Bradley. We have a group together called the Fabulous Blondes.
Oh
We're playing
wow.
Lenora Winery in Dundee, New York, August 21st. And I people can, look my dates up. Sometimes I don't get them all on my website, and I know that's really bad. I'm working on it. When you have to do a lot of things, sometimes other things suffer, and that's not a good thing to suffer. But I'm always posting them on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and, everywhere else. So
Someone had asked, are you going to go to Kansas City? Do you have any dates in Kansas City coming up?
is that where you are?
No, I'm actually in Houston. I was going to ask, are you coming to Houston?
Oh, yeah. I'm on the board of F2F in Houston. I always come to Houston.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
definitely got to see you when you come to Houston next time.
Yeah, yeah. I played Sugars in February. It was 20 degrees. It was scary.
Mm.
Yeah, Houston doesn't usually go 20 degrees.
No,
Yeah,
nobody coming out at that. Mm-mm.
yeah. Luckily, so people came, but that, people are like, I'm not going out there. It's 20 degrees.
No, we weren't
But
happy.
I'm on the board of this foundation in Houston, F2F, and we raise money to get instruments for kids that can't afford them.
Oh,
And we do jazz workshops for them and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm pretty active with them. So I'll
that's
definitely be back to Houston probably in the summer.
okay. Awesome. I'll definitely look out for you. I'd love to see you live. I noticed on your page that you shared some encouragement. I love the quote that you gave: "Never give up, people. Never stop. The adversity we all face from time to time makes you who you are, and a person, and as an artist." What does that stem from, and why did you share that quote?
Because I know what it's like to struggle. And, I think it's pretty obvious that you're the culmination of everything you've been through in your life, right? Your experiences make you stronger, teach you things. A lot of people just give up because it's too hard. You know, they just don't want to stick with it. And I just couldn't imagine doing anything else. So that's why I didn't give up. But, I see, well, a lot of people do. Um, I I started to really enjoy some nice success in the past couple of years. I mean, in 2020, I got my first #1 on Billboard when we were quarantined due to COVID. I couldn't work. I couldn't go out. I couldn't do anything except open my front door and yell, I'm #1 on Billboard, which I did. I did. Of course I did. What else could I do? But, you know, if you really want it, you got to just hang in there. And I think just in general, anything you could conceive of in your mind, if you want it really bad and you work really hard, you can achieve it. You just got to stay with it.
Absolutely. And you know, another thing too, if you don't know what to do, ask for help. Ask for help. A lot of people are trying to do it themselves, and then when it doesn't work out, they just give up. And if you don't ask for help, then you're not
Asking
going
for
to
help is good, but
do
be careful who you ask for help,
that
you
too.
know?
That
Yeah,
too.
because people out there will take your money, you know? Got to, you know, do your research, see who you're working with, you know, do your due diligence, as they say, and, you know, get a good idea of who it is that you're working with. Um, it's it's not easy. It's not easy, you know,
Yes, it
and
is.
every genre has, like, I know about my genre because that's the genre I'm in, you know. But sometimes people speak to me, like I was speaking to this one guy over the weekend when I was in North Carolina, and he was asking me, he's an indie rock guy, you know, and I don't really have any connections in that area or anything, but I was just speaking to him about, you know, releasing his music, where he chose to do that, um, you know, what type of radio would play his music. So, you know, I thought for that type of music, college radio was probably a good way to go. So I was talking to him about that, try to find a radio promoter in that genre. You know,
Yeah.
people have to hear your music in order to decide if they like it or not. If they don't hear it, they can't buy it. They can't come to your shows.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing there. So you have to, you know, a lot of people don't want to be on things like Spotify and, you know, some of the streaming services that pay a hundredth of a penny a stream.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes them mad. Yeah, it makes
Mm-hmm.
everybody mad. But Spotify is advertising, you
Yeah.
know, and you get on all these playlists and people that didn't know you before know you because they hear you, you know, mixed in on this playlist with these other artists that they knew and now they know you.
That's
So
right.
you know, services like Spotify really provide a necessary and important service. You know, for that, it's all advertising.
That's so true. I mean, if you're not out there, you can't be seen or heard. So if you refuse to
Nope.
get on a streaming service, then you're not going to be heard on that service. Billions of people are on there. So it would
Yeah,
behoove somebody to get on there. I mean, you know.
that's what I think.
Okay.
I'm
So
with you.
we're right there. Did you have mentors when you started out, or do you have a mentor now? Um, when you got into the industry, or no?
I think, you know, whatever teachers I studied with, I consider to be mentors. Um, and some of the people I work with now, um, who are helping me, you know, especially John Taylor, who might be listening now. He's starting to act as my manager, and he's a really great guy, really smart. And you need to have somebody that you could trust, that you could talk to and bounce things off of, you know. Sometimes I come up with ideas that I'll bounce it off my husband. He's like, "You're crazy," you know. So then I go to talk to like at least two other people because he always thinks I'm crazy, and maybe I am, but uh, I'm an outside the box kind of person, you know. I don't really fit in a lot of boxes, and I like it that way. I like to be creative and not necessarily go with the flow, you know. So I think you got to do a lot of it yourself, but you know, you have to find people that you trust, that you really can confide in. That's really important. That have your best interest in mind.
Absolutely. Who would you like to work with now that you're number 5? and people are hearing you and seeing you. Who you want to work with, Paula?
Such a big list. I always got to put Herbie Hancock on there because, you know, I'm just in total awe of him. He's such an amazing artist, and he just reinvents himself all the time and just, you know, keeps going, you know. I wish I could have worked with some people that aren't with us anymore, like Miles Davis, you know. Um, I like some pop artists, you know, like John Mayer. I love all kinds of music. Corinne Bailey Rae, Um, I love Latin music. You know, I like collaborating with people, and I'm starting to do more of that. You know, co-writing, uh, doing shows together. I think all that stuff just makes you grow. You know, and I don't want to keep making the same record over and over again. That's boring, and people are going to be bored with that. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like my job to keep trying to grow and do things differently each time, you know. So that's kind of what I'm always working towards.
Wow. We got 9 minutes left. Let me ask you a few more questions. If anyone in us watching has any questions, please type it. You can either type it where it says the question mark in the lower right-hand corner, or you can just type it where it says comment if you have any questions for Paula now that you have her right in front of you. Please share your questions because I don't know how often you can have her live right in front of you.
That's right, here
Um,
I am.
yeah, you know, so is this your first time doing IG Live? Is this your first
Yeah,
IG
that's
Live?
why I was asking you so many questions because, you know, I, I did so many, I do a lot of interviews and I did so many, of course, during COVID because that was something you could do. And it's just amazing how many platforms there are, you know, and everybody's got their own thing. So yeah, this is the first time I did IG Live.
Yeah, so this is so much fun because this is real time. People can ask you questions. So I would highly recommend that you do a IG live from your own page for your fans, so you can connect with them. That's the thing now is that you can actually real time talk to your friend, your fans, right here on IG, and it's so much fun. So I would highly recommend you do that in the future, and I'm sure you would definitely have a blast. You absolutely will have a blast. Um, Let me ask you, why should we appreciate jazz? Why have Jazz Appreciation Month?
Well, first of all, it's America's music, made in America, enjoyed worldwide. Jazz is our music. It's the music of America. And there's room in it for everybody. It's an improvising form of music, and everybody could find their own voice in it, you know, write their own music, play their own way, sing their own way. It's a really wide open format, and everybody could find their voice there. That likes the genre.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so why should anyone support the Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society? Why is that a good idea?
Because you're preserving our art forms, our precious art forms. Um, think about a world with no music. How would that be? Bad. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. That's why I'm such a big proponent of music education in schools. My parents didn't have money for me to get private lessons, so I didn't really get lessons till I could pay for them. I know what it's like for some kids, you know, in certain areas, they don't have enough money to buy an instrument, they can't get lessons. Um, Kids need something when they're growing up to feel like they belong to something. They need to have something to make them feel good about themselves. They need to have something to belong to. They need to have something that helps build their confidence. And that thing is music and art.
Hmm.
We should never get rid of music and art programs in the United States, ever. So I do what I can to keep that going because it needs to.
We have a question. Someone else is kind_1. Do you plan to do more singing on future albums?
I always put a certain number of vocal tunes on each album. I would like to. It all depends on what I write and what I hear, because I'm the main writer. So usually when it's a vocal tune, I'm writing about something that happened because it has lyrics. It's telling a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of times, if I do a vocal tune, I'll do an instrumental tune also, an instrumental version of it rather, because some radio stations don't play that many vocals in my genre. They play more instrumentals. So I want to still have the opportunity to have the song played. But there's some songs I record vocally that I wouldn't record instrumentally because the story behind it is so strong. I don't want to do that any other way.
Yeah.
Um, and one of those songs is Send Down an Angel from my second release. That was a story about a friend of mine that had cancer. And, you know, the, I've seen people do this before. They kept it a secret until they were about to die. And it freaked everybody out, including their family. They lived in a different state, so no one could see them.
Mm.
Uh, you know, people choose to keep particular things private, but when you're sick, you should reach out to friends and family. I think they love you, and those are the people that want to help you. So anyway, that was just a really strong story, and I didn't want to record that instrumentally. uh, so to answer the person's question, I'm in the middle of writing my seventh album, so I'll let you know soon.
Awesome. Awesome. What 3 milestones has happened in your life? Only three. 3 milestones has happened in your life.
Um, well, signing with Kalimba, what I was talking about before, that was certainly one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really fun because I was playing Spaghettini's in California, and I already signed the contract, but they came down with the hard copy for me to sign in person at my gig. That was cool. Getting my first #1 on Billboard in 2020. And I think playing the Maria Guerrero Theater in Madrid, Spain.
Mm.
That was amazing. In 2019. That was amazing.
That's awesome. One last question. What advice do you have to aspiring jazz vocalists, instrumentalists? What advice do you have for them today in 2022?
I think they have to go back and listen to everybody, all the jazz greats. Not just people on the contemporary scene, but, Miles Davis, Ella Fitzgerald, Charlie Parker, Bill Evans, all the people that were involved in the beginning of jazz itself, the people that made the art form, and see what they did and how they did it, and really study that, and from that try to make your own voice, try to make your own music, your own way to do things. When you're studying all that, you might take a solo and play it and copy it, and that can kind of show you the path to go, but at a certain point you got to make your own path. You got to, and that helps you build your artistry. Making your own path will show you how to build your artistry. And you want to have something that's uniquely yours, like your fingerprint. And you can have that if you just listen to your inner voice and just keep creating from your heart. Because nobody else can create the same thing as you because they're not you.
Absolutely, just like a snowflake. Each one is uniquely different.
That's right, people. We are all snowflakes.
Thank you so very much, Paula, for joining us today and allowing us to be your first IG Live interview. We are so honored, and thank you for joining us. And our last Jazz Appreciation Month interview. Make sure you keep watching every month. But the next month, we're going to be paying tribute to mothers, the children of iconic R&B legends. Will be
Right.
on every Monday in the month of May. So we thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you'd like to donate to us, please do, because we could definitely use your support. We go
Yes.
to Cash App, $RBPS18, or PayPal, RBPS18. We thank you again. Please join us again next Monday. Have a marvelous Monday, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thanks for all you do. Bye-bye.